fighter, a complete fighter, a fighter who I think presents next to the most, he's probably the second most difficult guy to fight in the weight class because he's rangy. He can do so many things. He can fight inside, he can fight outside. He's a great body puncher.
And he's able to pull this off and beat Boots on points or somehow hurt Boots and stop Boots and put on a great performance. Puerto Rico has the next great star.
Puerto Rico has the next great star. Roy Jones Jr. is now explaining why Jaron Ennis could be making a major mistake by taking the Xander Zayas fight, and his warning makes this matchup feel a lot more dangerous.
Can't let hit you repeatedly with the same shot or you won't be around long. So Boots gonna get on his game. I'm sure he's gonna tighten up and get on his A game because he know he has an A up.
On paper, Boots Ennis looks like the faster, stronger, and more experienced fighter. But that is exactly why this fight carries pressure. Zayas is young, hungry, disciplined, and has nothing to lose if people are already counting him out. Roy's point is that sometimes the dangerous fights are not the ones fans expect you to lose. They are the ones everyone expects you to win easily. And if Boots overlooks even one detail, Zayas could turn this into a serious problem.
And I think he's very mature for his age. Boots, on the other hand, is looking for that coming out party type fight. So he got to fight somebody at this point. And because he couldn't get A, he went to B. And I like that about Boots because Boots saying, I want all the smoke. If this one won't take me, I'll go find the next one. And so, since he couldn't make the fight with Ortiz, he made the fight with Xander. This is what you want to see. This is a bomb.
And that is why Andre Ward's view connects perfectly with Robert Garcia's warning. Robert is saying the longer this fight goes, the more dangerous it can become for Boots because Xander may start growing into the moment.
Personally, I like his movement. I like how he's carried himself, and I like him. I've seen his growth, calling his fights on ESPN. He's got a lot to like. He's got the range. He's got the height. He's tough. He got a whole country behind him, and he fully embraces trying to be the next great Puerto Rican champion. And he's going to cause some problems for Boots Ennis throughout this fight. But the question, my initial question, is that Andre Ward looks at it from the championship mindset. He understands that talent can win early, but discipline wins when the fight gets complicated. Boots has the tools to take over fast, but Xander has the calm style that can make him think, reset, and work harder than expected. So, when Ward speaks on this matchup, it adds another layer because this is not just about power at 154. It is about who can stay sharp when the easy moments are gone. His way so much that I don't always see Boots, even though he does have skill defensively, he doesn't always use it. I see Boots sometimes get hit with clean flush shots, and I'll see him get hit in a fight with a repeated shot. And my boxing brain says, you took that shot against this guy, what if you get hit with that same shot against that?
And Roy Jones Jr. added another important point when he spoke about Xander Zayas because he is not looking at him like some ordinary young fighter walking into a fight too early. Roy understands that Xander has real tools, real confidence, and the kind of size that can matter if the fight starts going deeper. Boots may be the more explosive name, and most people may still lean toward him, but Roy's view makes you look at Xander differently. He sees a young champion who can make things uncomfortable if he stays calm, takes the early heat, and forces Boots to fight a more patient, physical fight.
The experience, you can go 60-40, 60 with Boots, 40 with Xander, but it kind of is a 50 fight.
As a young guy like Xander, naturally it sounds like Xander may be an underdog in this matchup. What do you think that Xander presents to Boots that one, he hasn't seen before, and that two, he'll have to adjust to be successful?
Height, discipline, and Xander's actually a good puncher, and he also knows how to work to the body. So Xander is a complete fighter. I don't know how many complete fighters Boots really has faced, but unlike the guy he fought from overseas who was a decent fighter but he wasn't complete.
Richard Torres is now saying fans are overlooking Xander Zayas against Boots Ennis, and that warning makes this fight feel more dangerous than people think. A lot of the attention is on Boots because of his speed, power, and reputation as one of boxing's most talented fighters. But Torres is reminding everyone that Zayas is not just showing up to survive. He is young, sharp, confident, and fighting with the chance to change his whole career in one night. That is why this matchup cannot be treated like an easy win. because overlooked fighters are often the ones who come in with the most to prove.
Win. I think people are underestimating Xander so much. It's insane to me. Like, people are all like, oh, like, Xander's not ready for Boots. This isn't, oh, Boots is gonna wash him out. Boots is gonna do this. Boots is gonna do that. Xander's a world champ, a multiple belt world champ, and he's showcased who he is time and time again. I think people are just like washing him out or like overlooking him because he's so young, but I'm giving it to Xander. I think Xander's his boxing ability, his ring IQ, his presence, his just stature. I think it's gonna be tough for anybody to beat him. And so I'm excited for this fight, and I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think it's gonna be a competitive fight. But
Aaron Ford's analysis of Xander and Boots adds another smart layer to this fight because he is looking beyond the obvious hype. Boots has the flashier tools, the faster hands, and the kind of explosive style that can make people believe he will take over early.
Everybody says that Xander's going to give Boots trouble because of the Karen fight, right? It seems like whenever Boots is talked about going up against a boxer, everybody references Karen Chikadze, right?
Right.
Why are we going to see a different Boots in this fight than in the Karen fight?
See, people don't realize, years ago, 10 years ago, we turned Boots pro up in Utah, 18 years old, 147 pounds. Now the man was 28 years old, was still fighting at 147. That's hard as hell. A 10-year span, now he's in the division he belonged in. Guess what? He ain't hurting himself making that weight. Hey, look, this is a junior middleweight man. I'm telling you, they're punching like a heavyweight. They ain't gonna believe it right now until they see it. But come June 27th at the Barclays Center up in New York, it's gonna be unveiled, man. It's gonna see something great. It counts on how Boots feels. If Boots wanna take a little walk around the park, he'll get him in 6. If we wanna be nice up in New York, we get him 8.
If Boots starts fast and lands clean, he can make a statement. But if Xander stays calm, controls the pace, and keeps Boots working every round, this fight could become much harder than people expect.
What's the best version of Boots look like overall, in your opinion?
The intelligence, the crazy counterpunching. Yo, his imagination is through the roof. Yo, I mean, people don't realize how much imagination, it means in boxing. Yo, man, this guy, man, he do nobody else can do. Except Roy Jones. Nobody's man do this Boots except Roy Jones. And his imagination is crazy, man. His angles, his speed. And like I said, punching power, man, they haven't seen his punching power really get him.
If Boots starts fast and lands clean, he can make a statement. But if Xander stays calm, controls the pace, and keeps Boots working every round, this fight could become much harder than people expect.
Really, really good fight. It's an old school fight, champion against champion, and it's going to be a tough affair. Honestly, my heart is always with Boots, and that's a fight that's been made, so I'm going to have to side with him. And I think it might just be a little premature for Zayas, but he is a unified world champion, so he has to bring it to the table.
What would be his keys to the
Don't get hit.
Who would you say has the edge, just pure boxing?
Listen, I've been in camp with Boots. I've seen him since he was young, man. He's just progressed amazingly. He has fast hands, he has wonderful angles, he's ambidextrous.
But Andre Rozier still leaned toward Boots. He understands that Xander is young, sharp, and confident. But he also sees Boots as the more complete and dangerous fighter. The speed, the switch hitting, the power, and the way Boots can attack from different angles make him hard to prepare for.
Xander could fight, but I just think he ain't been through the fire like Boots gonna put him through. Like Boots ain't one of them guys that's in there to cruise. He gonna try to get him out of there. So I think he's gonna be a little too much for Xander down the stretch. Yeah, I think.
You think he's gonna stop?
It's possible, but I think he's gonna dominate him. Because he might have a good chin, be durable. I ain't never see if he can how he take it to the body, but yeah, I just think Boots is gonna. I think he'll dominate him. But a good fight though. Xander good fighter. But right now, I don't think that he's ready.
Mickey Bay has been around high-level boxing. So, his breakdown comes from understanding what separates good fighters from special ones. He knows Xander Zayas is not an easy opponent because Xander is young, strong, disciplined, and confident enough to believe he can handle this moment. But Mickey also sees why so many people still favor Boots Ennis. He has that rare mix of speed, power, timing, and creativity that can make a fight change very quickly. At 154, the big question is whether Xander can stay calm when Boots starts switching looks, changing angles, and landing shots he does not see coming. That is why Mickey's view matters, because he looks at this as a real test, but still sees Boots as the fighter with more dangerous weapons.
Would have to look sensational and put a beating on him the first half of the fight, but I think if it goes late into it, I think Boots is in trouble because Xander has tremendous heart, big boy, he's a warrior. He has the heart that won't stop him. He won't back up. I think he has a chance.
Robert Garcia's warning makes the Jaron Ennis versus Xander Zayas fight feel a lot more dangerous than people first thought. A lot of fans are expecting Boots to come in, use his speed, show his new power at 154, and take over early, but Robert is looking at the other side of the fight. If Boots does not hurt Xander early or get him out of there fast, the fight could start changing. Xander is young, strong, confident, and big for the division, so every round he survives could give him more belief. That is why this is not just about Boots being talented. It is about whether he can break Xander before Xander gets comfortable.
They're going for Xander Zayas, that's the next, and he has a good chance to win because he's bigger and he has a lot of speed and foot movement and stuff like that. But for me, I just think Boots has too many tools, man, and he's a little bit older and wiser, but he has too many tools. But you never know. I mean, Xander actually fights, so he must see something because this fight, if he beats Boots, it makes him one of the legendary fighters in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's a champion thing, but this fight will make him like, oh, okay, he was a beast.
Might put him in the pound for pound.
Yeah, put him in the pound for pound list and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, he believes he can win, so.
Shane Mosley gives Xander Zayas an upper edge against Boots. Instead of only focusing on Boots Ennis being fast and explosive, Shane seems to look at what Xander can take away from him. Xander has a steady style, good balance, and he does not usually fight with panic. That matters against a fighter like Boots because if you rush, overreact, or reach too much, Boots can punish you quickly. For Xander, the key is making the fight boring in the right way. He has to slow the pace, keep his defense tight, touch Boots with smart shots, and not let Boots build rhythm. Shane knows Boots is dangerous, but he also understands that clean boxing, patience, and confidence can frustrate a gifted fighter. So, his take gives Xander a real path, not by trying to outflash Boots, but by making Boots work harder for every opening.
Xander, man, yeah, the young gun. So, I mean, the young gun is just man, it's a tough fight, man. I got Boots. I just think that he's ultra talented. However, I mean, Xander could surprise him, man, Look, I expect the best Boots version of himself. I expect the best Xander. Boots got more pop on his shot. Boots I think he's more talented out of the two. Boots do have some Boots does have some holes, but so does Xander, man. I mean, look, I think it's gonna boil down to who wants him most. To be honest with you, who wants him most? It's gonna be a dogfight, man. Xander don't mind. He don't mind going toe-to-toe if he needs to. I know he's gonna probably try to box, but Boots is coming to get his, bro. He's coming to prove a point, and we should get a hell of a fight.
Meanwhile, Tim Bradley is leaning toward Jaron Boots Ennis, but he is not completely closing the door on Xander Zayas either. Bradley sees Boots as the more naturally gifted fighter, the one with more pop, more explosiveness, and more ways to change the fight in one moment. At 154, Boots is coming in with something to prove. And Bradley seems to believe that if the best version of him shows up, Xander is going to be dealing with a serious problem. But what makes Bradley's take interesting is that he still wants to see what Xander can do when the pressure gets real. Xander is young, confident, and mature for his age, and he has already shown that he does not mind stepping into big challenges. Bradley knows Boots has the talent edge, but he also understands that Xander has pride, discipline, and the mindset of a fighter who is not coming to lay down. So, for him, Boots may be the pick. But Xander still has the chance to make this a dogfight and prove he belongs on that level.
Big kid, great confidence right now. He unified. In that fight with Abbas, Barraou showed us he definitely a dog. I mean, he had to fight down in that fight. He took some shots too. You know what I'm saying? He got worked out a little bit too. And fights like that, you learn something. Not saying Abbas is a comparison to Boots. Of course he's not. But that did show him something about himself. I mean, he can take a shot and he can fight through tough times. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't do that. Boots just need a body. He needs somebody like Xander. You know what I mean? Xander is, when it comes to experience, I'm gonna say they somewhat similar, but then again, no, because Boots got better names than Xander. I think so. You know what I mean? Xander's just a champion at 54. But Boots is, to me, better skilled, sharper, and I think he...
And Greg Hackett looks at them from a very practical boxing angle. He is not just focused on who has the bigger name or who fans are picking. He is looking at preparation, styles, and what each fighter has to prove once the bell rings. For Boots, Greg sees the talent clearly. The speed, the awkwardness, the counterpunching, and the ability to adjust all make him a very hard fighter to prepare for. That is why sparring someone like Demetrius Andrade makes sense, because it gives Boots high-level work and different looks before fight night. But Greg also makes the Xander side interesting because he believes this is the moment where Xander has to show what he really is. Xander has looked good against the fighters he was supposed to beat. But Boots is a different kind of test. This is not just about looking sharp anymore. It is about dealing with real danger, real speed, and real pressure. So, Greg's view adds tension because he sees Boots as the more proven talent. But he also knows Xander now has the chance to prove he belongs at the highest level.
Because I already know nobody can beat my homie at all. That's what I got in my head, and I already know he got the talents and everything to walk through everybody.
How do you see this going?
How I see this going?
Decision, stoppage, what?
I would say stoppage. I don't think it's going. I think it was too much. I don't think it's going to be decision.
What do you see that Xander does well that could possibly make this a difficult fight?
That could possibly make this a difficult fight. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. And he definitely got the skills. I feel like his mindset will help it out. His mindset will help him out, but I feel like he
so unprofessional. He's supposed to be a promoter.
Exactly.
Dennis Thompson Jr. seems to be looking at this fight from the side of what Boots Ennis can do once he starts finding his rhythm. He may respect Xander Zayas as a young champion, but his confidence is more in Boots because of the layers in his game. Boots is not a basic fighter who only wins one way. He can box from distance, switch stances, counter, press forward, and suddenly turn a quiet round into a dangerous round with one fast combination. For Dennis, that kind of variety is what makes Boots hard to handle. Xander is sharp and disciplined, but discipline only works if you can keep the other fighter under control. Against Boots, that is not easy because he can change the look before you fully settle into your plan. If Xander gives him the same rhythm too long, Boots can start reading him and making adjustments fast. So, while Dennis may see Xander as a real test, he still seems to trust Boots' talent, speed, power, and creativity to separate him once the fight gets going.
They're gonna make the most money fighting me. I'm really the cash cow at 154 for real. So these guys can fight this guy, fight that, fight that guy, but when they fight me, I'm the cash cow. They make the most money fighting me, and that's what anybody in the division. So they gotta see me. I got the hottest, I got the biggest name, I got the hottest name. I'm the best fighter at 154. They gotta see me. Dude, I'm lit.
When Jaron Boots Ennis started taunting Xander Zayas, it showed a different side of this matchup. Boots is usually calm and confident, but here he looked like a fighter who wanted Xander to feel the pressure before they even got in the ring. That is dangerous because Boots is not just talking for attention. He is trying to make it clear that he sees himself as the bigger threat, the sharper fighter, and the man who is ready to take over at 154. For Xander, this is the part where the mental game begins. Boots knows Xander is young, hungry, and confident. So, the taunting could be his way of testing how Xander reacts under pressure. Does he stay calm or does he start fighting with emotion? That matters because Boots is the kind of fighter who can punish mistakes quickly. If Xander gets too eager to prove a point, he could walk into the exact kind of traps Boots wants. But this also makes the fight more exciting. Boots taunting Xander adds heat to a matchup that already had real stakes. Boots wants to show that his speed, power, and style are on another level, while Xander wants to prove he is not just a young champion being thrown into deep water. The talk only raises the tension. And Boots is basically telling Xander that the hype, the belts, and the confidence will not protect him once the bell rings. And now Xander has to answer that, not with words, but by standing in front of Boots and proving he can handle everything coming his way.